The 12th seed coming with an 8-8 record, taking on the 5th-seeded MSJ Green Wave with a 10-6 record. But this is a very deceiving 5-12 matchup right here. This is a very tough matchup, I think, for being the 5th seed in the state of Vermont. These two teams have played each other twice during the regular season. And Dave Velasquez with a shot to the gap, and it's going to go, and he off the wall for at least a double. He's got tremendous speed, and he'll hold up with a double on the first pitch of the game. So Dave Velasquez, the center fielder, with a double to the left center field gap. Like I said, these two teams played twice during the regular season. MSJ losing here at home 12-2 to Scooter Scott, who'll be the pitcher for Brattleboro today. And in that game, Dave Velasquez had a leadoff double in that game. I remember it clearly, and that's going to be foul. He tried to bunt and move the runner over, and that would have been a tough play to throw the hitter out on also. And at the plate right now is Jordan Emerson, the second baseman. And then MSJ traveled down to Brattleboro, and behind Mike Sorelli's pitching, they won 6-1 that day. So they've split. And each team, when they've won, they have dominated the game. Hadega has pitched so well. It'll be a ball right there. Has pitched so well, especially his last 3 ball games. He went 4 innings on Memorial Day against Black River, 4-hit shutout ball, and he'll be back from the stretch now with a runner on second base. There's the bunt. This will be Sorelli will let it go foul. That's going to be 2 strikes on him now on 2 bunt attempts. Makes it 1 ball, 2 strikes. Scheduled for 7. Got to go all 7. It's the playoffs. And again, I just think that Brattleboro being a 12th seed is extremely deceptive. They are a much better team than a 12th seed. Hadeka looking for the first out and also not allow the runner to move on, and that's popped up. That's on the infield. That's the shortstop, Tyler Gilbert. He has settled in and made the catch right next to Velasquez at second base. So Hadeka achieves what he wants right there. He gets the out and doesn't allow the runner to move on. It's cloudy. There's a chance of a thunder shower later in the game. If you're watching the weather channels and weather radar on Channel 15's bulletin board, you can see that coming up from the Saratoga, New York way. There, good possibility we could get some passing showers. And that could score the run. That's going to be in front of Holtman, and nope, that was hit so sharp and so hard that they will hold Velasquez up to third base, so you have runners at first and third, and boy, this will be interesting now. See how Coach Carter wants to play this. 2 hits here in his first inning. Now Nate Boudreau up, the designated hitter. He's batting for the first baseman, Chad Cutting. But will they, when you know Brattleboro's going to send the runner on a steal from first to second, will they throw down? And there's a strike called. Tim Barrett behind the plate calling balls and strikes. So MSJ in a little bit of a jam here in his first inning. A leadoff double on the very first pitch of the game by Dave Velasquez. Thinking that's exactly how the game started here before, and that's off the end of the bat. Hadeka has the ability to bring him up on a strikeout here, and man, would he love to see that right now. 1 down, 2 on, 0-2 the count. Brattleboro at the plate, and MSJ in the field defensively. This is playoff time. That means if you lose, you pack up the gear, your seniors graduate, and you hope for next year. You come quick. And that one exploded high. It was a fastball high in all the strike zone, 1 and 2. And again, not a bad pitch to throw when you're up 0 and 2 in the count. See if they'll chase one, a little high cheese out of the strike zone. And to my surprise, the runner has not tried to go yet from first to second. And as we put into play Gilbert, he's going to make try the double play, and nope, that was just mistake written all over it. The run will come in, and the runner, it's a dead ball. He'll be awarded second base. So there's 2 down, but Brattleboro gets all important first run of the game, especially being the road team in the lower seed. So a double, a single, and now an error. And Peter Wagner up now. And there's a strike called. Wagner, a left-handed hitter against a left-handed pitcher. I'm just trying to fill out my roster. There we go. My book. There we go. 2 down, 1 run in. Runner at second. And that's going to be probably deep enough to send him. Yeah, here comes the runner home, and throw's not going to come. He's going to come to second base. 2-0 Brattleboro. So just the start you want if you're the lower seeded team. on the road. Now Mike Dixon up. He becomes the 6th batter to come to the plate here for Brattleboro. And again, other than that error, they've been stinging the ball here. There was a chance on that ball hit to Tyler Gilbert at shortstop. That looks like it's going to be a single. That looks like it's going to be a gapper, and that will roll. Bad angle there taken by the outfielder, and it could be the 3rd run of the game. And now they're going to hold him up at 3rd, so we'll have a double. And runners at 2nd and 3rd, and boy, Hanukkah getting hammered here in his first inning on some good hitting by Brattleboro. So 2 doubles and 2 singles, an error. 2nd and 3rd, I'm sorry, and Joe Martell up, the 7th batter to come to the plate against Willie Hanukkah. And they really need Hanukkah to gather it together here and get deep into the ball game. That's a good pitch, fastball off the fist, and that'll be fouled back to the screen, come right back off to Hanukkah, and the umpire wants the new ball. He's sure that one's scruffed up from the impact against the backstop, and he'll look it over and he'll put it back in the ball bag, so it'll be okay to use again. But the Colonels up 2-0, and a chance to blow this first inning wide open here. They have runners at 2nd and 3rd, and Martell at the plate. And that breaking ball just didn't break, and it stays high for a 1-1 count. I started to say on the ball that was hit to shortstop, they had a chance. Velasquez broke early from 3rd base. They had a chance to go home with the ball, but they were looking for the inning-ending double play. And hindsight's 20/20, but from that error on, boy, things have just kind of busted open here. Velasquez has scored, Boudreaux scored, and still 2 runners out there in scoring position at 2nd and 3rd. And that's a good pitch. 2-2 the count. And yeah, Hanukkah just wants to find his rhythm, survive the inning, just allow the 2 runs, and let his team get to work at the plate. It's a very humid day. And that looks to be playable. Holtman retreats back a little bit, settles underneath it, and that's the out. But at the end of a half inning, it's Brattleboro 2, and MSJ coming to bat. He'll turn you back to you in just a second, but number 19 on the mound for Brattleboro is Scooter Scott. And again, he was the winner up here 12-2 over MSJ. He was very dominating in that game, actually. And he's going to be looking at John Holtman, Alex Spanos, Willie Hanukkah, and then Tyler Gilbert will bat in that 4th spot. I believe, not that it's relevant, that's very important for MSJ to respond here with at least some runners, some hits, make contact off Scott here in the first inning. You don't have to tie it up at 2 or anything, but to show some life, and they'll say he pulled the bat back on that bunt attempt, and they'll go to 1-1 in the count. Yeah, they have Brandon McFadden. He's behind the dish out there. He's the catcher. Chad Cuttings at first base. Jordan Emerson is at 2nd. Joel Martell's at short. Pete Wagner's your 3rd baseman. And boy, that's going to be a great-looking bunt. It's going to be nowhere they're going to throw. See what he did? He chopped down on the ball, sent it high in the air, and great job by Holtman using that speed. And plus, he's on the left side of the box, don't forget. So gives him that extra step out of the box. So he will be on base. And Spanos up the center fielder now. Again, Holtman with decent speed being held on at first base by Chad Cutting. The outfield for Brattleboro has Jacob Smith in left field, Dave Velasquez in center, Mike Dixon's your right fielder. Now Scott will go to the stretch to pitch. He shows small ball, and the runner fakes. No, he went, and he's gone. Oh, my goodness, they called him safe. Oh, boy. Yeah, and they throw the ball around on the infield, and I got to tell you what, that must have been one heck of a slide by Holtman because the ball was there 2 strides before he got there. And that's my mistake for prematurely calling him out. So he'll move up to 2nd base on a steal. Now you wonder if there was a bunt and run or if he just missed the bunt or if he was on a steal to begin with, but and don't be surprised, Spanos has got that electrifying speed himself if he lays down a bunt here, not for a sacrifice, but just to get on base. So the Mounties surrendering 2 runs in the top of the first, have a runner in scoring position and John Holtman down at 2nd, and Scott will go. There's that nasty, nasty breaking ball from Scott. That is so tough on right-handers. 1-2 the count to Spanos. Long look in, and oh, that's going to be nice job. They'll catch, they'll fire, they'll double. Now he's out at 2nd base. That was all done by the second baseman, Jordan Emerson. And I just want to go, that was what, 4-6. So a double play. Yeah, and now Haddock up with nobody on base and 2 down. Well, not really a kind of start you would, if you're a Mountie fan, that you're hoping for. You surrendered 2 runs, gave up a bunch of hits in the first inning, and got a base runner on. He stole second base, and then you hit into a double play and got to start over here. So Haddock looking for a way to get on base with 2 down. Here's a strike. Like I said in the beginning, this is an extremely unbelievable 12th seeded team, Brattleboro. Actually, to be blunt, it was a terrible, for being 5th seed, it was a terrible draw for MSJ if you look through the bracketing. But that'll be a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down, 2-0 Brattleboro. And Haddock, they're looking inside on him, and my pitch didn't go where they wanted him, but he got the strikeout, and that'll end the inning. He'll face 3 batters. Don't forget the bunt single that got erased on the double play. We'll go to the second, 2-0 Brattleboro. So Willie Haddock hoping to have a different second inning as he gave up the 2 doubles and 2 singles in that first inning and 2 runs. Left runners at second and third. And Jacob Smith will be the leadoff batter here, and he bats in number 8 spot. So looking at 8, 9 in top of the order. MSJ had a threat ever so slight in that first inning when he had a runner at second base, but a line drive to second. They doubled the runner up at second base, and that was the end of it. And there's a swinging strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's the Haddock fastball. When he's on, it will sail away and low to the right-handed hitter. Kind of, like I said, very reminiscent of what Maycomber throws over in Fairhaven, another big lefty. He got underneath that one, but that looks to be very playable, and Spanos will glide back, make the catch for the first out in the left center field gap. So 1 down here, and they get the leadoff batter out for the first time in 2 innings. McFadden, the catcher, and he'll get his first look, like I said, at Haddock, who faced 7 hitters in that first inning, and then back around to the top of the order to Velasquez, who had a double to start the ball game off for Brattleboro. He shows bunt there deep at the corner, and it'll be a foul ball. And it's really back on the dirt, and they try to lay down the bunt, and it went foul for a strike. And again, for the Mounties, Bill Schuldice is over at first base. Colin McCormick is your second baseman. Tyler Gilbert's at shortstop. Mike Sorelli is at third. Clint Rhodes is in left field. Alex Spanos is in center. John Holtman's in right. And Ryan Gilbert's behind the plate. MSJ has committed 1 error so far in the ball game, and that'll be a strike right there on a breaking ball. He'll step up to the plate, down 0-2 in the count to McFadden, the catcher. Haddock looking to develop a rhythm. Wants to catch and fire, and that one sailed high on him. They make it a 1 ball, 2 strike count. And a little bit of a hazy sun breaking out here at St. Peter's Field. Again, Jerry Munger, Munger Vision on PEGTV Channel 15 Sports, bringing this playoff game between Brattleboro and MSJ, and that's going to be out of play. Yeah. So everything will stay where it was in a 1-2 count. MSJ ending the season, sweeping a doubleheader, one from a very, very good Black River club, and then Bill Schuldice getting his first varsity start, got the win over Leland and Gray. And that will be in the dirt, and that one dropped off too quick, made it a 2-2 count. Like I said, you want to really take care of that lower portion of the order, that 7, 8, 9 spot, and not have Velasquez come around with people on base. He's really done well this year, Velasquez was, against MSJ pitching. Well, he's worked it all the way around. No full count at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Haddock without a strikeout or a walk yet to this point in the ball game. We're early. We're in the top of the second. 2-0 Brattleboro, and they're up to bat right now. Foul tip caught by Gilbert, and what he come back with after messing around with a couple breaking balls, came back with the fastball and gets his first strikeout, and also the second out of this inning. Like I said, Velasquez has done very well all season long against MSJ pitching. Has a double already today. You really don't want him to come up to the plate with a runner on base. I mean, now if he doubles or even triples, he hasn't at least pushed a run in, and that's something. They say he went on a bunt attempt. Now that's the 4th Brattleboro player in not quite 2 innings that has tried that, to lay down a bunt here. Sorelli even with the bag down at third base. So a little wrinkle in their game plan. Great pitch. They make it 0-2 now on Velasquez, who is a very good two-strike hitter. Haneke looking to get out with a 1-2-3 second. That's foul ball. You know, even though he faced 7 hitters in that first inning, he didn't go deep into the counts. He didn't really throw an excessive amount of pitches. I mean, a lot of them were first or second pitch hits. So, I mean, if he can get out in a 1-2-3 or 1-2-3-4 inning, he's pretty much on where he should be for 2 innings of work, pitch-wise, pitch count. Again, you kind of throw out, I would, not the pitch count, obviously, but, you know, if you've got to bring in, say, hypothetically, Sorelli or, whoever to pitch, using people up, because, yeah, you want to think about, well, what if I win today, go to the next round of the playoffs, who am I pitching? Well, yeah, but you really got to win today to even worry about tomorrow. So you got to take care of what you got to do pitch-wise with a number of players and people today. That's what they want Haneke to really settle in here and try to get as many innings out of him as he could. And that's going to be slapped down to short. Gilbert. Yeah, nice block by Scholdice. They were never that deep in the hole. That's going to be an infield single. They were never going to get Velasquez out with that speed, but at least Scholdice kept the ball from going out of play, which would allow him to take second base. Now Emerson up. He flied out to Gilbert at shortstop. He's 0 for 1. But already getting a second look at Haneke, and we're only in the second inning. I'm a little surprised at this point when Brattleboro's had so many runners on. They really haven't tried to advance via the steal. Haneke, of course, a lefty, looking right over at the base runner, and that's a good pitch. Just came right in hard on the fastball, got him to foul it off for a 1-1 count now. Again, Scooter Scott, the opposing pitcher for Haneke here, and he is on deck. He's the on-deck hitter. The runner goes, they'll swing through, and no throw down. So they'll give up the stolen base. And that was a swinging strike. Haneke with 1 strikeout in the game. That came this inning, and it came swinging by McFadden. Yeah, that one just exploded up and out of the strike zone. I'll tell you, with the speed at second, a slow hit single to the outfield definitely would score Velasquez. And that's going to get him over to third base, and that'll take care of that as far as worrying about getting him out at the plate on a single. Now, if you're Haneke, you got to really buckle down here and keep the 3-2 count. You got to keep those wild pitches under control. So Emerson with a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Wouldn't chase it. That'll be the first walk, and that'll put runners at the corners to bring up Scooter Scott. He had a single his first time up, and whoa, pitching changed that quick. My coach Carter's going to bring Sorelli in, and it looks like they're going to put Ryan Gilbert at third base, put Bill Scholdice behind the plate, I'm guessing, and put Haneke over at first. So I was thinking maybe if you could get out of the inning, because he'd want to be able to re-enter, but they're going to be having Mike Sorelli on in place of Willie Haneke, who doesn't go. He goes a little over 1 2/3 inning, leaves the game trailing 2-0 with runners at the corners for Brattleboro and 2 outs. So we have juggled around with Haneke going to first base defensively, Ryan Gilbert going from catcher spot to third base, and then Sorelli coming in to be the pitcher, and Scholdice going behind the plate to be the catcher, and it's going to be a ball. Runners at first and third. No runs in yet, but that was a quick hook by Haneke, who seemed ready to leave the game. Now, I don't know if there's an ailment, a problem, or they are thinking ahead for innings, but in any event, the Mounties surrendering 2 runs in the first, trailed 2-0 here in the second, and trying to just keep it at that right now. On deck will be the DH, Nate Boudreau. And that's going to be down to McCormick. He will make the stop, throw to first, and that's the inning. So Sorelli will come in, do the job, keep the runners from scoring. It'll be 2-0 Brattleboro going in the bottom of the second. Tyler Gilbert up. This is his first chance to get a look at Scooter Scott today. And again, both teams very familiar with each other. This is their third meeting. They play Legion ball all the time against each other, and that'll be a swing and a miss by the number 4 hitter, Gilbert. Scooter Scott, number 19 for Brattleboro, faced just 3 hitters in that first inning. We know he gave up a bunt single, and that could carry it. He could score on that with his speed as he gets past the right fielder, and they're going to send him to third base, and he's looking for a second gear to kick it into, and the throw is going to be late. Nice stop over there, and Gilbert will get a lead-off triple here for MSJ. And I'll tell you, honestly, that the right fielder on that side, Mike Dixon, just had a problem the minute the ball was hit because he took a step in, a step out, a step in, and then the ball just sailed over his head. Mike Sorelli up for MSJ, the pitcher now, and Gilbert down at third base. Again, that's senior Tyler Gilbert. His younger brother Ryan is also in the game. Good swing by Sorelli. Liked the pitch and fouled it off. Started to say, really should be no surprises from Scooter Scott. They know what he's got. They know his stuff. They know when he's on, and they know what to do to make him off. And he's got a runner over at third base with nobody down here in the bottom of the second. Playoff baseball action on PEGTV Sports. Munger Vision bringing it to you. And boy. Again, that's his pitch. The right-hander's right there. That nasty sweeping breaking ball. He'll get up in the count 0-2. And boy, right here, you really got to make contact. Put the ball in play. Make the defense do something with it. Put some pressure on him. I'm not sure about that. They must have thought, because the guy at third base, not that he was stealing home, but it might have been a contact play where he would have just broke, or it could have been a squeeze put on. But he was up 0-2 in the count, so he could afford to do that. Got him, yeah. Made him look bad on those 2 breaking balls, and he will have his second strikeout of the game. 1 looking, 1 swinging, and now Bill Scholdice up. Bill Scholdice has been one of the most consistent hitters all season long for MSJ. And he's looking to, again, drive the ball deep for a fly ball to get that run in, base hit. And there's a strike called. The other thing, too, is with a runner at third, defense gets a little more tense on a ground ball hit to him. Maybe you get him to make an error, bobble the ball or something. Oh, you show small ball. This is going to be close. It's going to be at first. The run will score. Go to first, and they got him. He got the run in, though. Scholdice with a laid down the bunt. It popped it up, and at first I thought it was going to be up high enough where they're going to make the catch. But that'll make it 2-1 now. So Gilbert with that leadoff triple comes around to score. I'm just doing my book right now. And Ryan Gilbert up now with 2 down, but the run in. Nobody on base, and looking to start things over here with 2 down. That'll be a ball too far outside. So both teams, you can see right now, it's playoff baseball. I mean, you see them looking for that anyway, get that run, and a lot of squaring and bunting attempts here by both sides early on. We're going 7 innings today, or we're carrying it over to tomorrow if it gets rained out, but it's playoff. You got to play them all. 1-1 to count. Great pitch. Not sure if Gilbert was fooled on it, but he kind of just watched that one come in, and he'll make it a 1-2 count. Whoa. Yeah, Scooter Scott started to leave the mound. I thought he had him too, but must have been just a little bit too far outside. The oohs and ah for me were just with 2 strikes on you. That's awful hard to take a pitch like that without making an attempt to protect the plate. That's going to be out of play. It'll be a foul ball out on the River Street. Again, PEGTV's website, easy. www.PEGTV, PEGTV, and that stands for Public Education and Government Television. And Scooter Scott will be taken now to a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Clint Rhodes is the on-deck hitter as they're pitching to number 7 in the lineup right now. Ryan Gilbert, he has gone from the catcher's position defensively to now third base. MSJ with 1 run in so far, and he's still got a base runner around with 2 down. So Scooter Scott gave up a leadoff triple. Bill Scholdice bunted the run in for an RBI. And I tell you, not a bad spot in the order here to send the runner. 2 down, and Gilbert being held on at first base by Chad Cutting. And he's got a very conservative lead right now, and that's going to be, again, if Scooter Scott, the pitcher, can keep that pitch going right there, oh, it'll be a long day for MSJ. because they'll have to make some adjustments to it, and that's strike 2. 0-2 the count to Rhodes. Yeah, well, a couple of things they can do, obviously, is to step closer to the plate, but then that sets up a lot of other pitching options for Scott. And he went, and yes, that'll be the 3rd out, but MSJ does pick up a run. It'll be 2-1 Brattleboro going into the 3rd inning. Nate Boudreau up. He reached on an error and scored in the 1st. We're in the top of the 3rd. Brattleboro, the 12th seed at 8-8, taking on MSJ, the 5th seed at 10-6. Brattleboro had an excellent 1st inning. 2 doubles, 2 singles, and an error. And it really could have been a lot worse. They left runners at 2nd and 3rd, and then Sorelli came on in relief to get a ground ball, a 4-3 ground out to end that inning. Actually, that was in the 2nd, excuse me. And he'll be down in the count, 2 balls, no strikes. You know, the key to it right here is the Mounties just picked up a run, and you want to come back and give it right back to Brattleboro here in the 3rd. And MSJ pitcher needs to get buckled down, and well, that's buckling down. He came inside and hit Boudreau, so that'll be the first batter hit by a pitch today by either side. Now Pete Wagner up, he had an RBI single, so for 2 of the 3 innings, Brattleboro's gotten the leadoff hitter on base. Again, that'll be Hanukkah defensively holding on the base runner. Boudreau over there at first base with a left-handed hitter up. Now see right there what you're taught to do from diapers up. If he squares out early to bunt, just bust him inside with a fastball. And what Sorelli's got to do is just worry about throwing strikes right now. Don't worry about all the bunting and faking, but throw down by Schuldice, and Hanukkah reeled it in, but the base runner back safe, and all of a sudden you're down in the count. I believe that's 2 balls now, no strikes. And that's what you get preoccupied with, all this squaring and bunting, and they should go to first base. Yeah, and they'll get the out, and there's the sure out. 1 down, runner does move over on a good bunt to second base on that sacrifice. So Dixon up, and he had a double. He's got a runner in scoring position down at second base with just 1 down. And you can see Sorelli doing a little landscaping out there on the mound. MSJ with strike right there. They had Hanukkah start the ball game. He went the full 1st inning, and then just a little over 2/3 of the 2nd inning. Then he got yanked. He had 1 strikeout, but just never really seemed into the game or comfortable where he was. And they brought on Mike Sorelli with no hesitation the first meeting, and that was it. They yanked him and brought in Sorelli. Now, when you do look out there, you say Tyler Gilbert has pitched. Actually, Alex Spanos has pitched this year, so has Schuldice, and it's going to be a foul ball out of play. So you would kind of think MSJ's in a position now where they need Sorelli to really go, find a groove, get some support defensively behind them, and be able to maybe carry this thing into the 7th. And never did what he wanted to do. He stayed up high in the strike zone, and they'll make it a ball. And he's got 2 strikes on him right now with the 1 out and a runner at second. And yeah, that'll be to McCormick. He'll stay down on the ball, go to first, and he'll get the 2nd out. Runner does move up to third base, and that is important, but that is the 2nd out, and that does help somewhat. So McCormick with 2 assists today on 4-3 ground outs. And Joe Martell up. He flied out to Holtman in right field back in the 1st. Now, with all that breaking stuff that Sorelli throws, Schuldice is going to be a cat behind the plate here and make sure he keeps all the balls in front of him. And now let the run come home on a wild pitcher pass ball. That was a little bit high. Caught the plate but high above the belt for a ball. 2 outs. He's just looking for that 3rd out and strand the runner at third base. And there's a strike. Nice pitch. Had a little pop on it. I could hear the glove popping up here when Schuldice made the catch. And see what Sorelli's done too with the runner at 3rd and 2 down. He's just gone to the full windup. And there's a strike. And it gets away from Schuldice, but not far enough to do any damage. And makes it a 1-2 count. And MSJ trying to dodge another bullet here in the 3rd. Remember, they left a runner, 2 runners actually. That's a high fastball. He elevated it, but too high. Yeah, they left a runner at third base in the second, didn't allow him to score, and now they got a runner at third base here in the third, and they want to do the same thing, not let him come in. It's 2-1 Brattleboro with the lead. And there's a strikeout by Sorelli, and they will strand Brattleboro with another runner at third base. So if you go back to the first inning, through now, they have stranded 2, 4, 5 base runners through 3. It stays 2-1, the Colonels. And then the number 9 hitter in the order, Colin McCormick, standing in there in the bottom of the third. And in that doubleheader against Black River and Leland and Gray, one thing you got to be very aware of McCormick, first of all, a very good athlete. Second of all, good instincts. But he laid down a couple beautiful bunts in that ball game, one of them for a base hit. And that's going to be another strike, and they'll make it an 0-2 count. I'm sorry, they called that first one a ball, so a 1-1 count. And Scooter Scott, they've been able to get runners on against them. They just haven't strung together, back-to-back hits or back-to-back hits, things like that. But, they have made contact, got runners on. Remember, they had a runner as far as second in the first inning. Then he got hit into a, double play, erased him. And then they did score the run. They had a triple in the second and brought that runner in. And a good eye right there. And all of a sudden, that'll make it a 2-2 count. Brattleboro scoring 2 in the first. And then straining runners in scoring position in the second and the third. And a good eye right there by McCormick. He's ran to a full count now at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Top of the order on deck, John Holtman, followed by Spanos, Alex Spanos. And he'll earn himself a walk. Nice job of working the count. And again, he's a good guy to if you want to start hit and run or straight steal or something, you got the right kind of guy over there that can do it. Speedy guy. Left-handed hitting John Holtman up. He had a bunt single. And he was part of that double play later on, but so you got a couple fast guys out there right now for MSJ. One at the plate, one on the base, and from the stretch now we'll see Scooter Scott, and there's the bunt, same attempt, a high chopper, bobbled around, and everybody's going to be safe on the play. Same type of bunt he had in that first inning where he deliberately just beat it down in the ground, so it came up high and hard, and first and second now for MSJ. And nobody down. And this is where they got a little bit of a problem last time, and it wasn't Spanos' fault. He made good contact, but the ball was a line drive right to the second baseman, and he was able just to lob a throw over to the shortstop covering the bag at second, and they had to run her out. And we're going to have a meeting on the mound now for Brattleboro, their head coach, coming out, and he's going to talk to Scooter Scott. And this will be a good time to tell you that on June 19th at 5:30 in the afternoon, American Legion Post 31 starts their home schedule. They'll be taking on Granville, New York, Post 323. And it's a non-league game, but that's always a fun contest. And again, to get information on Post 31, you can just give them a call at the Legion, talk to Ron Fairbanks, go to their website, and they'll have the whole season schedule for you, and that starts on June 19th. So MSJ with the makings here of a big inning as they're at the number 2 hitter in their lineup. Again, Spanos lined out into a double play, but he's got first and second now. And nobody down against Scooter Scott. 2-1 Brattleboro with the lead. And good job right there. Now don't forget, this is the second time through the order looking at Scott, even though they should be familiar with him. Each pitcher has different things. One outing, their fastball might be their pitch that's working, and the next outing it could be, he's throwing the changeup more or the curveball. So even though they're familiar with him, that's a strike on the breaking ball. You might want to see him for the second or third time through the order before you kind of got him figured out today. And don't be surprised to see Coach Carter pull like a double steal out of his hat too. He's going down to third base. The bunt was missed, and they're going to go and not be far enough out of play. He'll be checked down, and the runner coming in from first to second, and he's safe. So runners move up to second and third for MSJ, and that's what I'm talking about. I was trying to look over there and see the signs coming from the dugout. They had a delayed double steal. And a lot of things that does. First and second, it's much easier to get a ground ball double play because you have a force out at first, second, or third. Now they've got runners both in scoring position, and that's going to get away from the catcher, but not far enough to bring the runner home. So Scooter Scott struggling right now with that breaking ball, and it's the same time I was talking about when Sorelli was out there and he had a runner at third. There's a lot of pressure on the catcher when you throw a lot of soft stuff, breaking balls, having what you saw right there happen. Come up short and bounce away. So nobody down in the third for the Mounties. And then it'll come in high. And Scooter Scott just looks distracted right now. He does have 3 strikeouts in the ball game. He's got a full count now. For the second time this inning, he's gone to a full count. Spanels at the plate, and Hanukkah on deck. And this is playoff baseball action. And that's going to get the run in. They'll go to first, and they'll get the game tied up at 2-all. Good job. But again, all you really, I mean, you'd love to hit a home run or a triple or a double, but you want to make contact. That delayed double steal now was the reason they were able to score. And don't forget now, there is still only 1 out in a 2-2 game and a runner at third base, and Willie Hanukkah up. He looked at a third strike, and they brought the infield in. So they're looking to cut the runner down at the plate. They're on the grass at the corners, and they have the middle of the infield at least 1 to 2 strides. Well, shortstop's right on the edge of the grass, and the second baseman right on the grass. So again, they're looking to cut down the run here in a 2-2 ball game. And I don't question the strategy, but I think you're looking more like at a 7-6, 6-5, 7-5 type game here. For 2-2 in the third. MSJ's come all the way back now from a rocky start in that first inning to tie things up with a chance to take the lead. And that's a good pitch. 2 balls, 1 strike. Yeah, because the runner at third's John Holtman, and again, he's the whole, all sports, no matter what, baseball, football, it's all built around speed now. And there's a lot of speed at third base right now with Holtman. He wants to put it in the play. He does. They look the runner back. They'll throw to first, get the out. Okay, he reached. Hanukkah did, and it's one of those, you know, did his best he could do. If he could just swept it a little bit wider, but that'll be a 1-3 ground out. That's a big get. Now Gilbert up. He had a triple and eventually scored. It's 2 down now, and Holtman's still down at first. And you got to be wondering, with the corners playing really deep now, would he be foxy enough to call the bunt right here? Gilbert will take strike 1. That's that outside corner that Scott's been living on. He's been getting the call, and it's been a good pitch to those right-handed hitters. So 0-1 to count with John Holtman down at third base, and that's going to be strike 2. Well, I tell you, taking the first pitch and watching it, I can excuse that, but watching 2 go by, and that's going to be off the catcher's glove. But again, McFadden will hustle after it. It really didn't get that far away, just about 9 to 10 feet. And again, they'll have Holtman go down, read tag. 2-2 the score in the bottom of the third. MSJ Brattleboro, and the winner will move on to play in the quarterfinals. And that's going to be toward the hole, and 2 deep, and now it's going to score the go-ahead run. Gilbert will be 2 for 2 today. He'll get an RBI on that, so he's got a triple, a single, scored a run, and driven in a run for MSJ. They'll take a 3-2 lead over Brattleboro. Now Mike Sorelli up. He struck out back in the second inning. Again, 2 outs. Just no need not to keep it going here as they've. That's going to be outside for a ball. They scored 1 run in the second, 2 so far here in the third, and they've been able to dance around with Brattleboro leaving runners at third base in the last 2 innings. Missed chances by the Colonels. Actually going all the way back to the first inning. Runners going, the throw coming down. Going to be safe. So Gilbert will get there and put himself in scoring position with 2 outs. Now if you go all the way back to the first inning, Brattleboro's ended each inning leaving a runner at third base. And there's a slight breeze, but nothing really that should bother the game right now. And Scooter Scott with a long inning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Facing a 6th batter, but he's thrown a lot. He's gone, remember, full count a couple times this inning, so he's thrown a lot of pitches, gone deep into the count. And again, that just awful tough pitch for a right-handed hitter. Goes to the 2-2 count now. 3-2 MSJ over Brattleboro. And Tyler Gilbert down at second base, and that's going to be Martell. He'll run around, so he goes to the forehand side, makes a tough throw. Got him. But the Mounties, plate 2, take the lead. 3-2 going into the fourth over Brattleboro. So MSJ takes the lead, and the sunshine comes out here at St. Peter's Field. Kind of a good omen, you would hope. As Sorelli's been given the lead here as he'll face the 8, 9, and then top of the order. He's looking at Jacob Smith, Brandon McFadden, and then David Velasquez due up. Smith flied out to Spanos in center field. That was his only time up, and that's going to put a runner on. That's 3 of the 4 innings now. Brattleboro's got the leadoff batter on base. This is hit by a pitch, and now McFadden up. He struck out in the second inning. He was actually the only strikeout for Hanukkah, who worked 1 2/3 innings today. And Brattleboro's been extremely conservative on the bases with their base runner so far. Not this time. He's off and running, and the throw down by Schuldice is going to be just a tad late, and now McCormick will chase it down and runner at second with nobody down. And again, don't be surprised. And you've seen both coaches' tendencies so far in the ball game. A lot of small ball today. See if they want to square and bunt and try to get that runner over to third base. Yeah, they want to. This time everything just took so long to develop that Sorelli just stepped off the rubber. They had the shortstop Tyler Gilbert circling behind the base runner out there, Jacob Smith. And again, he'll show bunt and he'll keep it down. Yeah, they're going to go for the shore out, go to first, and oh, what a nice job by Hanukkah. Yeah, that's 2 games in a row now that he's been able to go up, use his height, come down, and just nip the bag before the runner gets there. And they're able to sacrifice that runner over. Now Velasquez has done a lot of damage today. He had a leadoff double and scored in the first inning, and then he also had a single. So he's 2 for 2 today, and he's got a runner down in scoring position. And yeah, they're going to not give him first base on that. That was that was a little obvious. I'm surprised because a guy like Velasquez, who's hitting the ball so well, you don't want to take first base on a hit pitch. You want to be able to swing the bat. I like that. There's an RBI for Velasquez, and that'll tie the game up at 3. So 3 for 3 today is the center fielder, Velasquez. So that hit batter turns into the tying run with 1 out now here in the 4th inning. Jordan Emerson up. He'll take a strike. Last time up, Emerson walked, and in the first inning, he flied out to Tyler Gilbert at shortstop. And Velasquez getting about 4-step lead off the bag at first, but he's going, and he'll swing. It was a high pitch, and oh, they're going to be safe. But the hitter trying to protect the plate went up out of the strike zone and swung at a ball around his eyeballs, and Velasquez wound up at second base with the steal. So Emerson with the go-ahead run down at second base now, and Sorelli going to the stretch, and that's going to be fouled off and over toward Otter Creek. It'll not make the creek, but it'll be a foul ball strike. 0-2 the count. Sorelli with 1 strikeout in the ball game. Would love to see strikeout number 2 come right here. So Brattleboro answering the MSJ runs in the bottom of the 3rd with 1 run so far here in the 4th. 3-3 the game. It started off 2-0 Brattleboro at the end of the 1st inning. MSJ is able to get a run in the 2nd, then 2 in the 3rd, and they had a very short-lived 3-2 lead. Check swing is going to be out of play over the dugout down the first baseline. And we'll just hold at 0-2 in the count. And again, Ryan Gilbert is at third base. Tyler Gilbert is at shortstop. They'll turn and throw, and the runner back safe. Again, I mean, it's a good idea to keep Velasquez close to second, but you're also with a right-handed hitter creating a huge hole between third and shortstop to hit the ball through. That'll be in the dirt for a 1-2 count. Hanukkah's at first. McCormick is at second base. Schuldice is the catcher. Sorelli's on the mound. And will that drop in? No, it will be a foul ball down the first baseline. So they'll send Velasquez back to second base. They'll retrieve the foul ball. Hitter will go back into the box. That's Jordan Emerson, and he's working into a pretty long at-bat here. And Spanos remains in center field. Holtman is in right field, and Clint Rhodes is in left field, because you've got to make sure you understand which Rhodes it is, because Nolan Rhodes also on the varsity squad. Nope. Just didn't break for him, and it'll go to a 2-2 count now. Now at this point in the count, you would almost be sitting on a fastball, and he went fishing and was able to fall off. That's a great swing with 2 strikes. Fought off the pitch, stayed alive. This inning started off with Jacob Smith getting hit by a pitch, stealing a base. They sacrificed him over to third, and then the RBI single by Velasquez. He stole second, and that's where we are right now. And I'm not sure. Fair ball, and that's going to give Brattleboro the lead at 4-3, and they're going to hold him up at second base. You can see Holtman's first step, he came in on the ball and could never recover. So Brattleboro will come back with 2 runs here so far, 1 out, and a runner at second base for Scooter Scott. Scott is 1 for 2 today. He had a single in the first, and then he grounded out to Colin McCormick his last time up. On that last base hit, too, that's a good piece of hitting. It was a nice pitch, low and outside, but the hitter went down and got it to the opposite field, and that's going to be ball 1. 4-3 Brattleboro in the 4th. Going to go 7 innings, at least 7 today. I told you, you're looking at a 7-6, 7-5 game here. Yeah, and they threw down and no damage done. McCormick not on the bag, and he had to continue through with the throw, so he wouldn't be called. Sorelli, that is the pitcher, and again, Jordan Emerson becoming quite the distraction out there at second base to the pitcher, Sorelli. And actually they have, for Scott, they've shaded toward the third baseline in the outfield a little bit. Probably about 7 or 8 steps toward the third base foul line. And he's going to run it to a 3-ball, no strike count. And this is always the most interesting pitch in the count right here, because usually it's the best pitch to hit, but a lot of times they are not given a green light. They're taken all the way, and there is a strike call. 3 balls, 1 strike. Again, Sorelli started the inning off by hitting the leadoff batter, and he came around to score, so as Velasquez came around to score. And that looks to be playable, and Rhodes will make the catch. The runner will go back to second base, and that's just a long fly ball out for the second out of the inning by Scooter Scott. And of course, if you're MSJ stating the obvious, you want to get out of this inning with just those 2 runs coming in. Nate Boudreau up, he reached on an error, and he was hit by a pitch, and he's also scored a run. So he's been on base without getting a legitimate base hit here today. And Sorelli will stay in the stretch. I'm a little surprised by that. Oh, that's going to be off the fist, and Gilbert will make the catch and fall down and then get up, and that will end the inning. But the Colonels, with 2 runs, retake the lead, 4-3, going into the bottom of the 4th. It'll be Bill Schuldice, Ryan Gilbert, and Clint Rhodes due up here in the bottom of the 4th. MSJ losing that 3-2 lead, and Schuldice to third. It's going to be picked up cleanly by Wagner. Throws to first, and he'll have the batter retired on that 5-3 ground out. Remember, prior to that, Schuldice had an RBI. Now Ryan Gilbert up. He walked his only time, and that was back in the 2nd inning. That's the only time he's been to the plate. I'll say that was a long inning for Scooter Scott, the pitcher, to be sitting on the bench, but he'll get the first batter retired on that ground ball, and that's going to be too low for a ball. Again, defensively, Chad Cuttings at first base, Jordan Emerson's at second. Joel Martell remains your shortstop. Pete Wagner just made that play. He's at third base. Brandon McFadden's behind the dish. There's a big swing and a miss for a strike, 1-1 to count. Mike Dixon's in right field. Dave Velasquez is in center, and Jacob Smith's your left fielder. And that's going to be strike two again. MSJ coming in with a 10-6 record, seeded number 5, taking on the 12th seeded Brattleboro Colonels, who are 8-8. And that's going to be foul. Kind of dribbled down the first baseline and kicked foul, and that'll just be a strike, and we'll stay at 1-2 in the count. Clint Rhodes is on deck, and then Colin McCormick would be the 4th batter. If they can get that far, extend the inning to him, he'd be the 4th hitter of the inning. Willie Haddock started the game for MSJ on the mound, went 1 2/3 innings, came out and was replaced by Mike Sorelli. And that's going to be a base hit, and Velasquez will get down, and that's going to be 1 on, 1 out for MSJ. A nice piece of hitting there by Gilbert. So Gilbert's been on base twice today, once on the walk, once on a single. Like I said, Rhodes now at the plate. He struck out swinging, and Scooter Scott has had 3 strikeouts so far in the ball game. Again, MSJ's been able to make contact, get people on base. It has not been like Scott's been at his sharpest, like we've seen him in that 12-2 win here over MSJ earlier in the regular season, or like we'll see through Legion baseball season in the past. He's doing just enough to get in and out of trouble throughout the ball game. And Gilbert, very short lead down at first, went back, re-tagged. He is being held on defensively by Chad Cutting down there for Brattleboro. That's a good pitch. That'll even things up at 1 ball, 1 strike. You're watching PEGTV, Channel 15. Varsity playoff action from St. Peter's Field, 4-3 Brattleboro. And boy, that uppercut swing, and that's going to be a pop fly to Velasquez, and Dave will make the catch. And they'll be 2 down now. And Colin McCormick walked and scored, and also had a stolen base back in the 3rd inning for MSJ. Again, he's kind of guy, he handled the bat, and he can lay down a bunt not only for the sacrifice here, but with 2 down, he'd be bunting for a base hit. And they are deep at the corners, and he didn't show any indication there that he was going to lay down a bunt. Now remember, in the first at-bat, he was down 0-2 in the count, and eventually came around to work it to a full count and get the walk. And he watched that one go by below the knee for a ball, and that's going to be ball 2. Must have been just a tad bit outside. So 2 ball, no strike count. 2 down, 1 on. Brattleboro in the field defensively right now, and MSJ swinging the bats. That came inside and just missed, hitting McCormick. It goes to 3 balls and no strikes, and I'm pretty sure he'll be taken all the way. John Holtman is the on-deck hitter. He represents the top of the order for MSJ. And there you go. Best pitch of the sequence right down the pipe, and 3-1 to count. Strike 2, full count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes to McCormick. So Scooter Scott looking to reach back and find that 3rd out and take care of it himself here, and that'll be high, and that'll push the runner over to 2nd. So 1st and 2nd for MSJ. 2nd time in the ball game that McCormick has walked. Now Holtman up. Yeah, he's had 2 bunt singles. He scored a run. And each time he has bunted, he has purposely chopped down on the ball and making an extremely high bounce on that hard infield dirt. And again, I'm surprised. Wagner down at 3rd base, just even with the bag. I thought he might take a few steps in. Of course, Holtman just swings the bat well anyways, and that's going to be dead ball. Hit him. That will load the bases up for MSJ. Now Spanos up. He lined into a double play in the 1st inning, then he grounded out to 2nd base, but also drove a run in on that ground out. So table set for MSJ to tie the game up here. Spanos up, bases juiced, 2 down though, and Scooter Scott will go back to the full windup for Brattleboro. And again, he throws a lot of breaking stuff, and it's going to be a lot of pressure on the catcher to make sure that he keeps the balls in front of him, not doesn't let one skip away from him. That's going to be ball 2, and there's another nice stop by the catcher, McFadden. He went back, and there 2 balls, no strikes. And like I said, Scott hasn't looked at his best, but he's been able to get that needed out in a jam situation like this. Being very deliberate right now between pitches. And that'll be a strike outside corner, 2-1 the count. 4-3 the score. Brattleboro has had a 2-0 lead, 2-1 lead. They've trailed 3-2, and then they came back with 2 runs in the top of this inning to take the 4-3 lead. And, oh, foul ball. 2-2 the count now. And see if you'll go back to that breaking ball, that big old bender that falls away from the right-handed hitter. Spanos had problems with that earlier in the ball game. Oh, I love to sit up here and watch the games in full. A guy like Spanos, they're so deep at the corners. If he laid a bunt down the line, there's no way they'd ever get him. And that is a great 2-strike swing right there. And again, it was that breaking ball that falls off the table, and he just reached out and poked it foul and stays alive, and the base is still loaded. 2 down for MSJ. Winner will move on to the quarterfinal playoff action. If Colchester wins their game, the game for MSJ, if they won. Oh boy. Tell you what, half of Brattleboro was just about set to walk off the field. On a very close pitch, it becomes a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. And that's home cooking right there. That was a tough pitch to take with 2 strikes. He'll ring him up there, and I'll tell you what, he got him twice. He'll get the second one called, and he'll leave the bases loaded. Stays 4-3 Brattleboro. So MSJ in the bottom of the 4th with a great opportunity. Bases loaded. Couldn't get the job done. He'll come in here down the top of the 5th and be looking at Pete Wagner. Left-handed hitter taking on Mike Sorelli, who came on in the 2nd inning to get the 3rd out. He replaced Willie Hanukkah. Now Wagner today has singled, had an RBI, and he's also had a sacrifice bunt. So he's been productive, but boy, you start counting those missed chances like that by both teams. Remember, Brattleboro through the first 3 innings left a runner on at 3rd base at the end of each inning. And he'll tickle the corner and get the call. Makes it 2 balls, 1 strike. Brattleboro's gotten the leadoff hitter on 3 of the first 4 innings. That's a foul tip caught by Scholdice, strike 2. 2-2 the count. So good job by Sorelli after falling down in the count to get everything back to even now. And that's, again, nice job with 2 strikes. See him protect the plate, and didn't want to really leave it up to be decided by the umpire if it's a ball or a strike. He swung on it, followed out of play. In Brattleboro, the 12th seed, 8-8 their record. They split with MSJ during the regular season, winning here at St. Peter's Field. That's going to be a ball, 3-2 full count. Yeah, they won here 12-2 with Scooter Scott, the winning pitcher. And then MSJ's winning pitcher down in Brattleboro, and their win was Mike Sorelli, 6-1. Oh, that's cranked. And that's going to roll, at least be a double. I'm thinking triple, as Wagner, looking to pick up the 3rd base coach, will hold at 2nd base. And that's 4 of 5 innings they've gotten a leadoff batter on here, Brattleboro has. Oh yeah, and that just changes the whole strategy through this next inning. Now Mike Dixon, who has doubled and then grounded out to 2nd base. And there is a change defensively. I missed that. Nolan Rhodes has gone into play 2nd base for MSJ, replacing Colin McCormick. They leave the left side of the field, Gilbert and Gilbert, as Tyler Gilbert's your shortstop. Ryan Gilbert's at 3rd base. Hanukkah remains at 1st base. Scholdice behind the plate. Holtman, Spanos, and Clint Rhodes, the outfield. And Sorelli will just turn around and lob it back. He'll let the dust settle. He'll step in there with an 0-1 count. And we're going to have conferences everywhere now. They're going to have the hitter talking to the 3rd base coach. The battery of Scholdice and Sorelli are going to have a little conference. And Gilbert even talking to the base runner. All right, so. And I'm having a talk with you, telling you June 19th, post 31, American Legion Baseball starts here at St. Peter's Field. 5:30 start time. They take on Granville post 323. And from that point on, it's just Legion Baseball all summer long. He might have missed a sign. That could have been what the conference was about. That's a strike called fastball right there as he ripped it down the middle of the plate. And you have an 0-2 count. And again, he's only had the 1 strikeout since coming on in the 2nd inning. Popped up and out of play. And Scholdice never had a chance at that. And Stays with 2 strikes. And, well, I'm sorry, has a 32nd strike bunt attempt. He struck out, so that'll be 1 down, and that's a big out because the runner can't advance from second base on, so they'll have the strikeout. And Martell up. He flied out to John Holtman in right field in the first, and then in the 3rd inning, he struck out swinging. And he'll take that first pitch, and it was a beautiful pitch for strike 1. Top of the 5th, going to go at least 7. Winner moves on in the playoffs, and the loser's season's over. And Sorelli again putting a little speed on the ball, gets an 0-2 count. On deck will be Jacob Smith. This is Martell at the plate, and that one came in low. Nice job by Schuldice to make sure it stays in play. MSJ started the season off 4 wins, 1 loss. They started off red hot. That's going to be back and foul. Got around on that one, pulled it, but foul, and Rhodes will just send the ball back into play. And that breaking ball hung up there on Sorelli, and they were able to cream it foul. Becomes just a long strike, and Martell. The count's still in his favor, 1 ball, 2 strikes. I don't know if he might try to come up and in with a little heat on the ball here. Oh, he got him. Nice pitch by Sorelli. So 2 down now, and a runner at second. Jacob Smith up. He flied out to Spanos in center field and then was hit by a pitch in the 4th and eventually came around to score. He also had a stolen base in that sequence. And now you don't want to lose track of Wagner at second, but you really, as a pitcher, want to bear down and focus on the hitter because you can take care of the 3rd out yourself right here. Nice pitch. Framed well by Schuldice, and that'll make it an 0-1 count. And again, if we started off in very cloudy conditions, and now the sunshine coming out here at St. Peter's Field, and just overpowered him with that fastball. Been his best pitch today has been the fastball. And Mike usually throws a lot of junk, but today he's been on target with the fastball. 0-2 count. He's had 2 strikeouts back to back, and they'll check. Yeah, they'll say he did hold his swing. A very, very disciplined job at the plate by Smith. And again, that was elevated, but not that high. He'll have it. He'll strike out the last 3 batters. Strand the runner at second. It'll stay 4-3 Brattleboro going into the bottom of the 5th. Willie Haddock up. He got called out looking at strike 3 in the 1st inning, then he grounded out to the pitcher. So he's 0 for 2 today, and he's going to start things off here in the 5th. MSJ looking to get that leadoff batter on. They're down that 1 run. Scooter Scott, number 19, back on the mound for Brattleboro. And Haddock will swing over the top of that breaking ball for an 0-1 count. Again, Chad Cutting plays at first base defensively for Brattleboro, and Jordan Emerson's at second. Joel Martell is at short, and Pete Wagner is at third. McFadden behind the plate. And Haddock will be down in the count quickly, 0-2 as he fouls that off. It's Smith, Velasquez, and Dixon in the outfield for Brattleboro. They had a 2-0 lead at the end of the 1st inning. MSJ was able to cut that in half at the end of 2 at 2-1, and then the Mounties actually took the lead 3-2 in the 3rd, but Brattleboro in the top half of the 4th responded with 2 more runs. And that's where we stand now in the bottom of the 5th at 4-3 Brattleboro. The Mounties with a 10-6 record on the season. Brattleboro at 8-8, but they did split their 2 games against each other and struck him out looking as Haddock, second time today, he's watched strike 3 go by. Gilbert with a triple and a single. He scored a run and driven in a run, so he's been the big bat today for MSJ. He's up there, the base is clear right now. And again, they've had Scott in trouble throughout the whole ball game. He's, got him right in the helmet. So he will hit his second batter. He elects not to charge the mound, and Mike Sorelli up now. Sorelli has struck out and grounded out to the shortstop out there, who is Martell. And of course, Scott didn't do that on purpose. First of all, he hit him with a big soft breaking ball that probably wouldn't have broke a bubble. We'll see what they want to do with Gilbert. He's got good speed down at first, and MSJ down at 1 run. Runner going, and the throw is going to have him. Yeah, beautiful throw by McFadden down, and That takes care of the runner as he will be out stealing. Again, McFadden threw a strike. It was a fastball as a pitch, so he had a little extra time there to get the ball down there. And Sorelli didn't take a swing at the ball to protect the runner. And 2 down, nobody on now, and Sorelli looking to get something happening here with 2 outs now. That'll be a strike on the curveball. MSJ down to just 7 outs in the ball game in their season here. You don't forget the bases loaded last inning, and that's going to kick and be foul. Wagner will just toss it back to his pitcher. And the last inning, MSJ had the bases loaded, and Spanos struck out. Looking at strike 3. Each team throughout the ballgame has had golden opportunities to extend the lead and just haven't found that timely hit yet. He'll wave at it and he'll be tagged. That'll be the inning. Scott will face just 3 batters, thanks in part to having that runner thrown out trying to steal. We'll go to the 6th, 4-3 Brattleboro. Well, I'll tell you, for what it's worth, my opinion right here, this becomes the most pivotal part of the ball game as MSJ's defensively in the 6th inning. They're down 1 run, but they're looking at McFadden. But then the top of the order, Velasquez, who's done so much damage against them, and you really want to keep that deficit right now at just a 1 run. So if Sorelli can survive the 6th, he wouldn't have to look at either Velasquez or Scott probably again through 7 innings. And that's going to be a single up the middle and be cut off by Spanos. So 1 pitch and bang up the middle it goes, and they'll have the leadoff runner on yet again. They've done a good job of getting that leadoff batter on throughout this whole contest. So now we'll bring up Velasquez, and yeah, he has doubled and singled twice. He has scored 2 runs, and he's driven in a run. And he has hit the ball with authority all 3 times. They'll throw to first, and the runner will be back with a head-first slide safe. That's Haddock over there holding the runner on defensively. Nolan Rhodes has gone into play second base, and then at shortstop's Tyler Gilbert. Ryan Gilbert is your 3rd baseman. Schuldice behind the dish, and Sorelli, who came on to get the last out of the quickness over there by the coach of Brattleboro, ducking out of the way of that one. But Sorelli came on in relief of Haddock. He got the 3rd out of the 2nd inning, and he's been in the game since. He has 4 strikeouts in the ball game, and he's hit 1 batter. And won't get the call there. Came in low for a ball. So again, we're in the 6th, scheduled for 7, and Brattleboro. MSJ have jostled back and forth with the lead today. And that's going to be off the fist and foul. So they'll send the runner back to first base. That's going to be McFadden going back to first. And Velasquez will head back, pick up the bat, get set to hit again. In the 5th inning, that was the first inning in the ball game that neither team was able to score a run. Again at 4-3, very pivotal inning here for MSJ. They call the pitch out and throw down, and nice job by Haddock making sure that ended up out in right field. And I think that threat of rain and thunder showers for this game have passed by. Beautiful sunny day now. That sun, though, will bother the left fielder, shortstop, and 3rd baseman. The runner's going. That's just popped up and could become a double play. They'll throw, and they got a double play. So they'll give Velasquez for the first time today. It was a hit and run. And the runner, supposed to do just what he did, was take off. So a double play. And now Jordan Emerson up. He popped up to the shortstop, Gilbert. Then he walked and doubled, and he's also had an RBI. And I'm not saying they're through the most dangerous part of the order, but that's big. They'll be able to get Velasquez out of there without doing any more damage to the Mounties today. So each team has turned to double play, and that's going to be to Haddock. He'll bobble, he'll have time, he'll flip over, and Sorelli will tag the bag, and the Mounties will come up in the bottom of the 6th, down 4-3 to Brattleboro. Bill Schuldice will get things going here for MSJ. He's got an RBI today. And it happened, he actually bunted the run in back in the 2nd inning. Then he grounded out to the 3rd baseman, Wagner. In the 4th, it'll be Schuldice, Gilbert, and Rhodes. And then if they get to that fourth hitter, it'll be Nolan Rhodes due up as both Clint and Nolan in the ball game. Pitch called a strike. Again, MSJ with just 6 outs left in their season, trail 4-3. Scooter Scott has gone 5 full innings. Comes out here to answer the bell for the 6th. And again, he's done just enough to stay ahead in the ball game. Not as sharp as we've seen him, but again, just good pitchers win ball games when they don't bring their A game. Going to that full windup, and the pitch will be swung on and missed as that just dropped out. The bottom did on Schuldeis. Again, cutting Emerson, Martell, and Wagner on the infield, but McFadden behind the plate. Smith, Dixon, and Velasquez in the outfield. And again, that went too far outside for him. And that'll be the first ball, or second ball, I'm sorry, 2-2 the count. So MSJ defensively able to hold Brattleboro scoreless in the last 2 innings. He'll get a piece of it. Will it be deep enough? It will be. He'll be running at least to second base as we'll pick Schuldeis up, and he'll pull up with a stand-up double to start things off. Now, will they bring in a courtesy runner for Schuldeis? So Schuldeis, who's just been so steady and so solid all season long, usually they bring Sereno in to run for Schuldeis, and then they re-enter Schuldeis into catcher spot, and it looks like Mike Sereno coming in right now, number 1. And it is. So, yeah, they'll put a little more speed on the base pass right now. It'll be interesting now, down 1 run with Ryan Gilbert up. He has walked and singled. But if you're going to sacrifice him over, this is the spot you'd want to do it with no outs. And again, Gilbert's been on base twice today. He's been able to work Scooter Scott for a walk and then single. And then on deck would be Clint Rhodes. So Sereno, the courtesy runner for Schuldeis, who has a double. So there's been a couple extra base hits today for MSJ. Tyler Gilbert had a triple. Bill Schuldeis with the double, and that pitch outside for a ball. And again, Scooter Scott's going to be right around that 70 pitch mark. He's had a couple extended innings, and they did try the bunt, and it'll make it a 1-1 count. Now, 1-1 count, you can still, without doing any damage, leave that sacrifice on. Tell you, been a very good playoff game by both teams and both coaching staffs. He wanted to bunt, and they're going to throw down, and they call him safe. He slid to the outside and got the call his way, and he will be safe. And they'll get the runner over to third without having to sacrifice, and now they can let Gilbert swing away. Again, he slid toward the outfield side of the bag, and I think that's the only reason he came up safe, was just his way to, and we'll have a little discussion now as the Brattleboro coach will head out. But that will put the tying run down at third base with nobody out here for MSJ. You can see the umpire explaining, showing him, and, well, whatever he said, the Brattleboro coach bought it. So, and there's been a couple calls, I think they were right calls, but been a couple calls that went with the advantage of having your home field. All right, so the Mounties with another great chance here. Remember, just 2 innings ago, they had the bases loaded and they did not get the tying run in. They've got a runner at third with nobody down. They'll put the ball into play, and they are going to make the throw to Fred. He's going to throw it away. The tying run will come in, and that will put it at 4-4. And that's what I've been telling you the whole ball game. All you really want to, you'd love to hit a home run, but you just got to make contact and put pressure on the defense, and that's just what happened there. Is the catcher and the pitcher kind of looked at each other and then picked up and threw the ball errantly toward first base. And now Clint Rhodes up. He struck out and flied out to center field. And, yep, they threw inside tight. They got him in a pickle. Yep. You can see Gilbert trying to stay alive, and, oh, they got him. You know, now that might not be Gilbert's fault. It could have been miscontact at the plate. In any event, they will lose a base runner. And Clint Rhodes up there. Again, he squared the bunt, and the pitch came up high and inside. He turned away from it, and that kind of leaves the runner naked out there. But the Mounties do tie it up at 4, 1 down, and Nolan Rhodes should be the on-deck hitter. This is his brother Clint Rhodes at the plate. They play deep at the corners again and see if he's swinging away. He is, and he will pop it up on the infield, called for by Cutting at first base. In foul territory, he'll make the catch for the second out. So 2 down. Scholdice led this inning off with a double. His courtesy runner eventually came around to score. And now Nolan Rhodes coming up. He's hitting for McCormick. He went in 2 innings ago defensively to replace Colin McCormick. And if Scooter Scott's able to end the inning here, that means the MSJ squad will start off the 7th at the top of their order. And that wrapped around the plate but didn't nick the corner. It'll be ball 1 to Rhodes. 4-4. Dandy of a game today. And again, that stolen base set up that tying run, and that's going to be fouled out of play for a strike. So Sereno's nifty slide in the 3rd got him there safely, and then the error on the throw to first allowed him to come home and score. And the Mounties actually had a 3-2 lead at one point in the ball game. Brattleboro will come back, take that 4-3 lead, and came in high. Well, I'll tell you, the way playoff baseball should be played. Like I said, it's the most awkward 5-12 matchup I've ever seen because Brattleboro much better than a 12th seed. 2-2 the count to Nolan Rhodes. John Holtman on deck for MSJ. And that's going to be to second base, handled, throw to first. We'll go to the 7th, all tied up at 4. Scooter Scott will be the leadoff hitter, followed by the DH, Nate Boudreau, and then Pete Wagner up. So even though they got past Velasquez, Scott and Wagner have been hitting the ball well today. Oh. So they'll have the leadoff batter on. He got hit by a pitch. That's going to be the second batter, I believe. Yeah, second batter that's been hit by a pitch by Sorelli. Not what he wanted to do to start the inning off. So the potential go-ahead runs down at first base. Now Boudreau up. He's reached on an error, been hit by a pitch himself, and then grounded out, or flied out actually, to Gilbert at short. He's also scored a run. And I missed it, but I think they brought a courtesy runner in for the pitcher, Scott. So Sorelli forced to go back to the stretch now, and the pitch coming, and they waste no time. They'll have one play, and that's the first base, and they'll get the shore out at first. As the runner had started, and now you can see his jersey number. I can tell you who the courtesy runner in is. It's Kobe Carolo out there. Well, they got the definite out. Now, Sorelli, when he had a runner at second with nobody out in the 5th inning, struck out the next 3 batters. He's looking at Wagner right now, though. Wagner has hit the ball very well today. He had a single in the 1st, which was an RBI. He had a sacrifice in the 3rd, and then he had a double in the 5th. So he's had a single and a double with a sacrifice in between, and that's going to be too far outside for a ball. 4-4 the score. We're in the... I have the 7th inning. They didn't change it on the board, but it's the 7th inning. Nice pitch. Beautiful pitch. He bought it in just a smidgen to get the strike call from the pitch prior to that. And that should be playable. Holtman settles in, makes the catch, and runner will tag and go. And, oh, they are going to throw through. Nice backup. Oh, I almost swallowed my tongue. I couldn't believe he threw the ball through with the second out there, because if that goes out of play, the run would come in to score. And I believe that had to be the pitcher on the backup that saved that run from being able to come across. That ball definitely would have gone out of play. It's an anxious moment, at least for me up here in the booth. So Dixon up now. He struck out his last time up. He is grounded out to second base, but he's also doubled. And I believe with the paperwork being done that they got a pinch hitter up. So Andrew King up in place of Dixon. The go-ahead run down at third base. Coach Carter going to come out and talk to Sorelli. I can't believe he'll be taking him out of the ball game right now. Again, Sorelli came in to get the third out of the second inning, replacing Hanukkah, and he's done a pretty darn good job today. He's hit a couple guys, but he's had 4 strikeouts. He has thrown a double play ball. And I can only speculate as to what Coach Carter is talking to him. I mean, you know, when I look at the situation, yeah, you got a runner at third and a snap, but if you just take care of the hitter, you're the pitcher, and just focus on him, you've got the third out right there. So they bring in a pinch hitter, Andrew King, and this will be obviously his first time up. Now all this happening in the 7th inning. This inning started off with Sorelli hitting the leadoff batter, Scooter Scott. Then a courtesy runner, Kirillo, came on to take his place. And again, now you got to watch out for the wild pitch pass ball. Now you can be a little delicate because you do have bases open. Martell is on deck. He has struck out twice and flied out. So you don't have to deliver pizza on a platter here to this guy. Oh, just overpowered him inside fastball. Swing and a miss for a strike one. So Sorelli and the Mounties trying to yet strand another Colonel runner at third base. He brought that one up and inside, and that'll be ball 2. Again, it won't be the worst case scenario if he ends up walking King. Worst case scenario is that run scoring. Good pitch. At the knee, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Sorelli working very quickly between pitches. I like that. That usually means the pitcher feels pretty good about what he's about to do. And he rung him up, struck him out, and Brattleboro, for the 4th time today, will leave a runner at third base. MSJ coming up in the bottom of the 7th in a 4-4 playoff game. So MSJ, if they can get a run, just one run, they'll be into the quarterfinals. And John Holtman up top of the order. He's been on base all 3 times today. Scooter Scott going into the 7th inning, and that pitch will come inside for a ball. Holtman's had 2 bunt singles. He scored a run, and his last time up he got hit by a pitch, and they're saying he got hit this time. So his last 2 times up he has been hit by a pitch. Spanos up. He is lined into a double play, grounded out to second base, and struck out looking. Oh, nobody down. You got to remember now, behind the plate, McFadden has thrown a couple of runners out today who have attempted to steal. They try a little small ball, and the throw down snagged by the first baseman cutting. The tag was obviously late, but a nice job of going up, keeping the ball from being out in right field. That call a strike, as again, Spanos tried to get the bunt down and failed to do so. From the stretch, winning run at first base. Strike 2 called on the corner. Well, nothing says in the handbook that you can't keep the bunt on. We've already seen a attempted bunt third strike called out by Brattleboro. And there's nothing says they won't take the bunt off here. Odds are they will, but pitch out, and again, that's, you know, you can do that at 0-2 and 1-2. But Holtman staying put at first base. Mounties at the top of the order. Holtman, Spanos, and then Hanukkah, with the number 4 hitter being Tyler Gilbert. Ooh, I tell you, a couple of times today, Spanos has taken pitches with 2 strikes that have been borderline. Got to really protect the plate with 2 strikes in the 7th inning. That would tie a ball game. And he'll go down swinging. That's going to be first out of this 7th inning. Now Hanukkah up. He has struck out twice and grounded out to the pitcher. So Scooter Scott has, again, throughout the ball game, he's been in pickles and he's been in a little bit of jams, but he's done just enough to get in and out of innings. Hanukkah will pull that one foul down the first baseline out of play. And again, on deck will be Gilbert. Unless they turn a double play here. Again, we play all night. We played away a winner. This is a playoff game. We're in the 7th inning, scheduled for 7, 4-4 the score. There's a throw over to first, and Holtman easily back to first base. And again, McFadden's done a good job behind the plate today of being able to throw out a couple runners attempting to steal. Another throw to first and back safe. Maybe a little bit closer, but not that big a deal over there at first base. Cutting Emerson, Martell, and Wagner on the infield. McFadden behind the plate. Scott on the mound. Smith, Valsquez, and Dixon are the outfield. 1-1 the count. It has been tight all the way through. It looked like in the first 2 innings that Brattleboro might be able to get a pretty decent lead on MSJ, but they just curveball. He'll choose to run on it and safe. Again, he definitely was safe. Valsquez backing the play up with a little bit of motion, thinking he might have been out, but he definitely was there that time, and he picked the right pitch to go on, a breaking ball that took a little longer to get to the plate. So Holtman in scoring position with 1 out. Haddock at the plate with a 1-2 count. Pitch coming in. Puts the ball into play to second base. That will get the runner to third. And the significance of that, with 2 outs or not, puts pressure on the pitcher-catcher to keep the ball in the play. No wild pitches or pass balls. Now Gilbert up. He has tripled, singled, and been hit by a pitch. He's also scored a run and driven in a run. So they'll have a meeting on the mound to talk about Gilbert. Now, with first base open, they might be talking about walking Gilbert intentionally. Like I said, he's had a triple and a single, and he's been very hot hitter the last couple ball games for MSJ. They'll have Mike Sorelli on deck, but again, it wouldn't be bad strategy to walk Gilbert here. You have 2 down and the winning run at third base and your season on the line. And just to recap, Brattleboro took a 2-0 lead at the end of the first inning. MSJ able to make it 2-1 at the end of 2. Mounties with a 3-2 lead at the end of 3. And then Brattleboro took a 4-3 lead into the 6th, and MSJ tied it up at 4-all. There was never a doubt that I thought he was going to stay with his ace, Scooter Scott, out there. Could just be a strategy meeting. And, yeah, they don't have to pitch to him. They can just say we're going to walk him, and that's what they did. And Gilbert will go down to first base. And I don't like that rule. I think you should have to pitch to him like to intentionally walk. That way you have a margin for mistake. Well, Sorelli up with the winning run at third base. That's the only run that matters. Sorelli has struck out twice and grounded out to Martell at short. They are deep, and I mean deep at the corner. Pitch will come in as a ball. I didn't know how adventurous Coach Carter felt, because they are playing super deep at third base. And Sorelli's had a problem handling Scott's stuff. That's a fastball, fall tip strike, 1-1 the count. 4-4 the score. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Winner will move on into the playoffs, and the loser will go and have their banquet and pack up their equipment. Fouled off, strike 2. So Sorelli down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. They intentionally walked Gilbert. Holtman started this whole thing off by being hit for the 2nd time today by a pitch. Stole second base, moved over to third on a ground out. And Sorelli will watch at it, and they'll concede second base, because Gilbert's run means absolutely nothing. So they'd be nuts to throw down. So second and third now. The only thing it does is it would have made an easier force out on a ground ball. Scott with the pitch. Inside, runs it to a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. From the full windup, Scott will come to home base. Got him, and we're going to extra innings. What a performance by Scott as he strikes Sorelli out for the 3rd time today. And we're going to the 8th inning, all tied up at 4. So in the 8th inning, Sorelli will be looking at the 7, 8, 9 batters for Brattleboro, who have combined for 4 strikeouts between them. So right here, you don't hurt yourself as a pitcher. And what Sorelli's got to do, too, as a young person, shake off the strikeout to end the 7th inning and just take care of pitching right now. So each team with a chance to win it in the 7th just couldn't get the job done. And there's a pop-up, and going to be out of play. See Schuldice give it a chase, but it'll be out of play for a strike. How fitting to be in extra innings. Like I said, Brattleboro winning here during the regular season 12-2. And then MSJ winning in Brattleboro 6-1. And we are in the 8th of a 4-4 game. And that one, again, Shirelli's hit a couple batters already. Now it'll be in there, obviously, a ball. But he's looking at Martell, who has struck out twice and flied out to Holtman in right field. And then Smith will come up next. But again, MSJ's had a problem getting a leadoff batter out. And this is on the infield, and Hadaka, fading toward foul territory, will make the grab in the shade at St. Peter's Field, and they will get that first batter out this time. I think it's only the second time in the ball game that they've retired the leadoff batter. Now Jacob Smith up. Smith has flied out to center field, been hit by a pitch, scored that time around, and then struck out. So again, the 7, 8, 9 hitters have not really hurt MSJ pitching today. Hadaka started, went 1 2/3 inning, and Shirelli came on and got the last out of the second, and here he is in the 8th. And he has thrown very well today. He's been in a couple jams himself and been able to work himself out of it. Nice pitch at the knee. Ball 1, strike 1. 1 down, nobody on. And in case you're just tuning in, shame on you. Where have you been? 4-4 playoff action from St. Peter's Field. Good pitch. Will it stay in play? Shouldice. Nope. Just ran out of real estate. That'll be strike 2 on the foul ball. Again, the winner moves on to the quarterfinals. Unfortunately for the loser, their hard work and effort in the season will come to an end. Shirelli looks and gets a target from Shouldice, and he elevated that pitch. It'll be 2-2. Not a bad pitch with a 1-2 count. It'll go 2-2 now on that missed strike. Been a real fun game to do. And that's going to be down to third base and foul. Again, that's what you like to see from your batters with 2 strikes on them. Protect that plate. The board has it as a full count. I have it as 3-2. The only one that really matters is the home plate umpire. Again, MSJ able to withstand a rocky start to the ball game and overcome a 2-run deficit that could have been a lot worse. Now it'll be 3-2, so I was for once correct. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes now. No, and you don't, at the 7, 8, 9 spot that you've controlled all game in the order, you don't want to give him a free base here. And that will be foul. Down over near coach's corner in the concession stand. Somebody with a spectacular play down there. One of the spectators. Maybe an accidental play, but they said, oh, it's Darlene Janoski that made the play. That was no accident. She's one of the best athletes I've ever seen. Whether it's field hockey or skiing or... Got him swinging, strike 3. Yeah, and this is really what you want from an experienced pitcher like Shirelli. Take care of your business in a part of the order that you've handled all ball game. Now the number 9 hitter, McFadden, up. He has struck out, grounded out, and he did get a single, though, in the 6th. Because the top of the order, Velasquez coming up. He's been on base 3 of the 4 times, and there's a ball high and inside, and gets away from Shouldice. He'll chase it down. So in the 8th inning, there's 2 outs. Shirelli with 5 strikeouts since coming into the ball game. I gotta go back and check that too, because I think I missed one. I did. He has 6 strikeouts in the ball game, and he'll go to a 2-ball, no strike count. So he's got to kind of reel it in here. And actually, this is the pitch and the count right here. He doesn't want to go to 3 balls, no strikes. There's Mike Shirelli with that nice pace he's worked at, and he will go to a 3-0 count. And again, Velasquez on deck has had a double and 2 singles and scored 2 runs. I don't know. We'll get through this here first. There's strike 1, 3-1, taking all the way, and of course that was pretty much projected to be that way. Again, he's catching and firing, and He will walk him with 2 outs, and that will bring Velasquez to the plate. Again, we're in the top of the 8th, and Velasquez with a double in the first scored a run, singled in the second, singled and had an RBI in the fourth, and then grounded out into a double play. Now, I'm just speculating, but would they consider walking Velasquez like they walked Gilbert for MSJ? The on-deck hitter would be Emerson. I say go with it. Yep. Throw him inside, throw him low, but pitch to him. Again, they do have a force out at second base unless they want to send the runner. So from the stretch, Cirelli. And that, they want to cut that off. And oh, what a bad mistake. That's going to allow 2 runs to come in. Yeah, I could just see that. Had bad written all over it. And Velasquez has his helmet off running. And they're going to hold him up at third base. Yeah, you can't make a play like that in a tie game with 2 down, no backup. So Velasquez will drive in the go-ahead run. It will go in the book as a triple, but it really was a bad angle taken on the ball. So that walk, and I think what Coach Carter was talking about was the Velasquez carried his helmet around the bases with him. Now in football, you take your helmet off, that's a penalty. And he literally carried his helmet running around the bases. I've actually never seen that. I've seen runners knock the helmet off on purpose so they can run without it, but never carry it like a lunch pail around the bases. So a big blow by Velasquez. That'll be his 4th hit today, his 2nd RBI. And that'll be ball 2. Now, it's easy to say from behind the camera, but you really got to bear down here and not let that another run come in. You want to kind of keep it minimalize damage here at the one-run deficit. And he won't get the call there, and that'll be low for ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes to Jordan Emerson. So Brattleboro and MSJ jockeying back and forth with the lead today. And there's strike 1. And the pitch on the way. And it's going to be put into play. Gilbert's got to make the long throw, and nope. 2nd run will come in. It was a slow chopper, and it was going to be a close play to begin with, but now Brattleboro with a 2-run lead. And I'm unofficially going to give him an infield single and the RBI, and now bring up Scooter Scott, who was hit by a pitch his last time up in the 7th inning. And he does have a single today. Yep, so 6-4 Brattleboro in the 8th. And that's a live ball. Yep. And they'll back it up, and that'll be Nolan Rhodes. They'll pick it up and toss it back into the pitcher, Mike Cirelli. So Cirelli got the first 2 out in the 8th inning, then issued the walk, and then that gapper throw to first. Whoops, there you are. You know, again, I personally would emphasize, just my opinion, which is a disclaimer, nobody, it's just filling up airspace. Just worry about the hitter and get that 3rd out. That looks to be playable. Spanos will grab it, and now he's got a lot of work to do in the bottom of the 8th, down 2, 6-4. So something we don't see a lot of around here. Pitcher working into the 8th inning today, and that's going to be Scooter Scott. He's got a 2-run lead to protect, and Brattleboro, with that, if they can do it, will advance into the quarterfinals. Bill Scholdice, Ryan Gilbert, Clint Rhodes due up. And Scholdice with a shot, but Velasquez, I think they're going to call him out, yeah. See how he protected himself by circling in from behind that ball. And he had his right fielder come in anyways to back him up on a play. So Scholdice with a hard hit ball will line out to center field, and 2 outs left in the mounting season. This will bring up Ryan Gilbert. Been on base all 3 times. He's walked, had a single, and reached on an error. And that'll be strike 1 on the inside corner. Again, Scott has not bought his A game, but he sure had a tough, gritty performance today, and he's got the chance to get the win in the playoffs on the road. And that'll miss. It'll be 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, it's just one of those games you go back, both teams can, and they each had chances to win it in the 7th. They each had chances throughout the ball game to build up a bigger lead, and the only fitting, I guess, it went into extra innings. So with a 1-2 count, and that ball will be fouled down the first baseline. Good job protecting the plate by Ryan Gilbert. And again, what I have, and I don't know if he would bring in a pinch hitter, but he has Clint Rhodes up on deck. And yeah, I was looking at the on-deck circle. It is Clint in the on-deck circle. That's off the fist and playable, and caught again for out number 2. So the Mike Dixon with the diving catch. So 2 big plays by the outfield, and the Mounties 1 out away from being eliminated. Clint Rhodes today 0 for 3, struck out in the 2nd, flied out to center in the 4th, and then flied out to the first baseman in the 6th. And Scooter Scott going to go the complete distance, and there's the charge, the fire, and got him. And Brattleboro will up. Well, they're going to call it an upset because it's a 12th over a 5th seed, but there was no way Brattleboro was really a 12th seed if you ever watched them play. And they will come to St. Peter's Field and win both times this year. They came to St. Peter's Field in 8 innings in a complete game. Scooter Scott and the Colonels will advance into the quarterfinals in a 6-4 win over MSJ. So congratulations to Brattleboro. An outstanding effort and season by MSJ. And again, get out there, support your student athletes.